Hey, Instagram seekers and YouTube seekers. Oh, not seekers, we're witchy mamas now. Excuse me. So, YouTube witchy mamas and Instagram witchy mamas. Hey, I'm with this moon. You are right at the beginning. I'm going to be talking to you about color magic. I'm doing red. That's why I'm all decked out in red today. If you are here watching live, hey Pure 3VP. If you're watching live, do me a favor and hit a hashtag live in the comments below. If you're watching on the replay, hashtag replay. It helps other people find us. I usually like to give it about 5 minutes for people to show up. I have a baby with me today, so you can enjoy that cuteness. He was really cranky because I just finished doing my other job for the day, and he was really missing me, so here he is. Hopefully he cooperates. I'm just going to open another tab on Facebook. Also, if you want to let me know in the comments what color you'd like to see me do next week, I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for the blessings, Pure 3VP, about being a mama. Last week I did black. This week I'm doing red. And so I'd love to hear what color you guys would like to hear about next. And I'm just trying to open this video. I have to open it twice on Facebook because Facebook likes to not show me all the comments no matter what. But this increases the likelihood of me seeing them at least a little bit. So let me know what your favorite colors are in the comments below. Very, very important business. My favorite color these days is purple, but I think I've liked almost every color as a favorite at some point. Where do I find these videos? Yeah, you're very loud. Here I am. Let's open, click to expand. I know. Are you entertaining people? Let's turn the sound off. There we go. Oh, Sarah says, oh my God, hi, Corbin. Say hi, Sarah. Hi, Sarah. And Sarah says she'd love me to do purple next. Cool. Hey, David. Hey, Steven. We're doing color magic today. Going to be talking about red, but if you have a favorite color you'd like to hear about me doing next, pop it into the comments below. I'd love to hear because you guys totally have a vote. I'm going to give it like 3 more minutes. So let me know what your favorite color is. I want to know. Here we go. In the meantime, here's a really cute baby. I'm really excited because, Amethyst says that their favorite color is purple too. Looks like purple is in the lead. So if you want a color other than purple, make sure to let me know. This is Corbin. And you can see Corbin's wearing gray today, so that's not too exciting. I'm excited today, that's what I was about to say. So I'm excited because after I finish this day, I'm going to go pick up my 11-year-old who I haven't seen in a few days. Hey, Lydia, we're going to be talking about color magic in just a few minutes. We're doing red, which is why I'm wearing all this red today. Hey, you're here to watch me. I know. What is it, little guy? Do you want all the devices? Do we have to get Daddy to come get you? You can't have them. That thing, that's what he does when he wants something, anything. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, you'll be able to see this. If you're on Instagram, you might actually get to see a little nip slip here because he really wants to nurse. So you're welcome in advance. All right. So let's see. Now that we have a quiet baby, we're going to give it another minute and then we'll jump in just a second here. So yeah, I got my red feather earrings. I've got my red tattoos, which are on purpose. I would have liked to have said that I got to the store to buy some red lipstick for you, but I totally didn't. And finding the right red lipstick is really hard, because you have to match like the undertones in your skin. So like if you have blue undertones in your skin, you have to get like a blue shade red. But if you have yellow undertones in your skin, you have to get a yellow shade red, which is really hard to find because that's what I am. So that's like fire engine-y red. Oh, thank you. David says he really likes my tattoos. But like if I put a blue shade red on my face, it just makes you like washed out and really unhealthy. If you're a female, if you're a person with a female persuasion who's ever shopped for red lipstick, I would love to hear about your experiences finding the right shade because I always have a super hard time. And I'm kind of excited because red lipstick is totally going to play into what we're talking about today in a way that maybe you might not expect, which is really, really cool. So all right, it is 4:05, so I'm going to jump in. Hey, Bearded Witch, we are just about to talk about color magic. We're talking about the color red today, which is why I have a red rose in my hair and the jewelry and all the things. If you are just, David says he loves my hair. Thank you. I did it myself. That's actually my day job is doing hair dreadlocks specifically, so that's a thing. If you have a favorite color and you have an idea about what you'd like to see me do next, let me know in the comments. So first thing about red I want to talk about is that like where we see red in our day-to-day lives, because that is a really big indicator of, some of the meanings of the color red. I think he's tired. I think he's trying to fall asleep. So red after the color black and white is actually the most visible color to the human eye. That's why we see it used in things like stop signs and stoplights and exit signs, because we're a lot more likely to see them that way. And the whole idea is that, they're meant to be high visibility. Sarah says over here that she has a maybe not safe for work thing about red lipstick. Apparently, if you match it to your nipple color, it's perfect. I cannot attest, but I've heard. Well, I can only speak for myself, but my nipples are like not red, or anybody's nipples red. That sounds bizarre to me. So that's an interesting idea. I do think that would make sense for lipstick in general. Maybe it's a good thing, but I don't think it's going to help with red. But anyway, so red's a high visibility color. So one of the things that it is considered to be associated with is a color of warning or danger. But it can also be a sign of invitation. Like, think of like an exit sign. Like, yeah, it's showing you the way out, but it's inviting you to say, here, come this way. This is the way to go to the exit. But then, much more interestingly, getting into this whole red lipstick thing, because I think it's fascinating, is the idea of red lipstick and red nail polish are actually a relatively new thing, historically speaking, for women to wear. David said it would be weird seeing a blue stop sign. Absolutely. Although I think I have seen some street signs that are yellow. That's another sign I see, color I see used a lot. But we'll get to yellow, I promise. Probably looks like purple next time. That's what people seem to want. Which is good, because I totally have a purple shirt I can wear. I did not have any red shirts. Ashamed to admit. So it's interesting, kind of as a little anecdote. When I was growing up, my grandmother, my great-grandmother are all Italian. I'm not. They were technically step family. And my great-grandmother used to love having her nails bright red. And apparently a lot of that was a kind of a sign of rebellion. Her parents hated red, and it was a big deal when you wore red. Red was associated, until the early 20th century, actually, red was lipstick or nails were actually believed to be worn by women that were either amoral or impolite or even heretical, meaning like, heretical to like the Christian church, like, like us, yay. And it was associated. I wrote this quote down from an article I found because I just loved it. It made me feel happy inside. It said red used in cosmetics specifically was associated with a mysterious, frightening femininity. And I love that, because fuck yes. Excuse me. Heck yes. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear. Hopefully I can find a way to edit that out. Hey, Freedom, we're talking about color magic today and the color red. If you have a favorite color that you'd like to hear me do next, pop it into the comments below. I would love to hear. What? I think you're tired. I know. Do you want this one? Yeah, okay. So at first it was considered to be a negative color for women, as far as, representing someone who is not trustworthy or of poor character. But then later, interestingly, in the suffragette movement in the United States, red lipstick became actually a symbol of the movement. It was meant to represent power and strength and solidarity and courage. So red can represent those things too. And over history, even after that point, it actually became adopted by many different women's groups to represent the same exact thing. It was adopted by flappers. It was adopted, or it was worn as a sign of patriotism during the Nazi era to represent anti-fascism, which is kind of cool, especially among women, obviously. Although in Berlin, I recognize they were pretty fluid, so, don't quote me on that one. And it was also worn by women entering the workforce during wartime, interestingly. It was, supposed to symbolize resilience in the face of conflict. So it was actually a sign of hope that they would wear red. So red is also a sign of hope. Even if we think about the red poppies that they sell, from the VA, that's another, symbolic of hope idea. So red is a color of hope also. During World War II, it actually became mandatory for women in the military to wear red lipstick, which is really interesting. I didn't know that thing. And again, it represents in that situation female empowerment and resilience and self-confidence, which I thought all that stuff about the history of red lipstick and red nail polish was just super interesting. But separately, or maybe even more likely a result of that history around the color red, red is also associated with passion, of course, and sensuality and romance, of the feminine variety. Think like the femme fatale, sort of archetype. And then, of course, we have to talk about red in popular media. When I started thinking about doing this live stream about the color red, I immediately thought of like the Matrix and like the lady in the red dress. And that's a really big, concept that we see in popular media. And what does the lady in the red dress really represent? The lady in the red dress is pretty much always used to represent a woman who has like ulterior motives, or is not trustworthy. Sarah says trying to watch in between haircuts. Well, this one isn't good. You're not missing too much yet, but don't worry. You can always go back and rewatch, as you know. Glad that you're here at all. Happy to see you. Your hair wrap you posted on Facebook, super cute. What was I saying? Lady in the red dress. I thought it was really interesting, the idea that a lady in the red dress, after all that sort of empowerment stuff, was like, considered to then to be negative, because the idea in popular media, or the idea otherwise historically, is that red is the color of empowerment and confidence and courage and hope and strength. And when I boil it down in my head, because this is a really big thing in my opinion, and if you're not of the female persuasion, or even if you are, you're welcome to disagree with me. I have a feeling that the sort of connection to red as being, being untrustworthy. Hey, Cassie, I am talking about color magic today. I'm talking about the color red. I'm talking about the lady in the red dress archetype and how she represents someone who's untrustworthy. And I think that, other thing too is the lady in the red dress is usually very sensual. Like if we think about the Matrix version, there's this woman in a red dress who's sauntering very sensually down the street, and she's meant to be a distraction, and she's a distraction because she's untrustworthy. There's a whole lots of stuff breaking down the lady in the red dress on the internet too about how she is supposed to represent all the distractions in life in general, and I definitely think they're putting like romance in that sort of category. But, I feel like it also speaks to this sort of idea that we have in our culture and our society that, if a woman is passionate or she is sensual, that clearly she must be untrustworthy. I wrote the Eve complex on here. I don't know if that's a real thing, but the idea that, if a woman has too much power, then it's bad. So that's where I think that red idea comes from, the lady in the red dress as being a bad thing. The lady in the red dress has too much power. She's too feminine. She's too passionate. And I think that's kind of where that comes from, which is really upsetting, but neither here nor there. And then, of course, red is also associated with the color of blood. So that means that it gets associated with a lot of things as a result of that association by itself. That means it becomes associated with war and injury and aggression, anger, passion in like the anger way too, not just passion in a sensual way. But of course, we also can't talk about blood and magic and the color red without talking about the idea of blood magic and women's mysteries. So red then also becomes associated with the feminine mysteries, with childbirth, with menstruation. So then the cycle of life and rebirth. And I think the baby has fallen asleep. Let me show everybody on Facebook because he's so sweet. Oh, sweet sleepy baby. So that's what red is all about. So I wonder if anybody has any questions about red. If you have any questions about color magic, you can toss it into the comments below again. If you have, again, I think Sarah Woods over here is new. If you have a suggestion for what color you want to hear next week, Sarah, toss that into a comment below too. I'm taking votes right now. Purple is winning. So if you have another suggestion, let me know. And talking about red, I thought I would talk about he's asleep. I would talk about my tattoos I mentioned earlier. So these are probably one one of my 3 Hey Kimber Whispers. We're talking about color magic and the color red today. I'm actually wrapping up. I was just about to talk about the symbolism behind my tattoos. When the video is over, feel free to go back and watch it on the replay in my feed. So my tattoos, I got them red because I wanted them to be the color of blood. And spirals in and of themselves are actually symbolic of the cycle of life and death and rebirth. So the color red just made sense to me because to me those things all kind of go together. And, if you look at the spiral, I know I'm like, look at my boob. If you look at the spiral and count from the outside, inside, anywhere, there's actually 3 levels to this spiral, which to me is symbolic of the maiden mother crone, or, triple goddess energy. So that's why I have my spirals. And it's kind of a cool story. When I was pregnant with my 3rd baby, he's number 4. The midwife told me that a lot of midwives actually have spiral tattoos, because of that association, which is kind of neat, because they are sort of the facilitator of new life coming into the world. So the spiral tattoo kind of acts as like a talisman or a charm, which is either consciously or subconsciously. So I thought that was a really cool story and made me feel really awesome about having my own spirals. So, all right, I don't hear any more suggestions about colors, so I guess maybe it looks like we're doing purple next week. So if you all are all set with colors, I'm going to wrap it up, and I hope that you guys have a great weekend. This weekend, in my world, I have my middle kiddo, River, is having a birthday party and turning 8, and we're going to be doing that. So it'll be a fun weekend, I hope. So I hope you guys all have a good one too, and you all take care of yourselves.